Hi there, happy Friday, and welcome to the Coffee Chinwag Show with myself, Jennifer Corcoran, LinkedIn trainer and strategist. So all this week I have been chatting to 5 amazing female entrepreneurs, and the one thing they have in common, well, 2 things they have in common is, one, they're amazing experts in their own field, and the second is that they've recently done the LinkedIn Tribe Academy with me, which is an 8-week deep dive program for female entrepreneurs. So today I'm going to be chatting with the wonderful Priscilla Maguti about mental health and then mental health on LinkedIn. I'm going to bring her up onto the stage in a few moments. But before I do that, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I want to know if you are here. So let me know in the comments if you are watching live. I'd love to know where you're watching from in the world, and likewise if you're watching this later on today on replay, just put in hashtag replay. Don't be shy to comment. Myself and Priscilla can get back to you, so let me know, because the comments sometimes take a while to stream through. And I just want to say, if you've missed any of these great chats this week, I will be doing a post and I will be sharing the links to the 5 replays. So I'm probably going to share that on my LinkedIn company page for my Super Connector. And if you're a female entrepreneur watching, I will also share them all in my group, which is Networking Tips for My Super Connector. So I'm just going to quickly just show you the name of my group if you want to join it, if you are a female entrepreneur. And I can see that somebody has joined. All right, great. We've got the comments coming through. So hi, Rachel. Thanks for joining. I could also see LinkedIn user live from Mid Devon. So thank you. I can see the lovely Andrea Hodges from Exeter College. So I'm getting a bit of a Devon vibe today. Can see Gopi. So quite a few of you are joining. So thanks for joining us live. And while I'm chatting with Priscilla today, if you've got any questions or feedback at all on the topic of mental health, please let us know. So Priscilla, I'm just going to give her a brief intro and then I'll let her do a better introduction. But she is a mental health specialist and trainer, and she helps UK-based HR directors and learning and development managers in local authorities, education and hospitality to enhance workplace well-being, reduce stress and promote resilience for their teams. So what Priscilla doesn't know about mental health isn't worth mentioning, okay? So I'm going to bring her up onto the stage now. Oh, I can see we've got Francisca, who's also a lovely lady from the LinkedIn Tribe Academy. Thanks for joining us. And I can also see Joanne. Actually, Joanne joined the other day as well when I was on to Pauline, because I remember Derry, fellow Irish person. So I'm going to bring up Priscilla onto the stage now. So hi, Priscilla. Welcome to the show, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for having me, and hello to everyone. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, and I have to say, this is Priscilla's first LinkedIn Live, so give her a warm welcome. She's smashing through her comfort zone today. Quite a few of the ladies this week, it was their first LinkedIn Live, so be gentle with her. I've given her a brief intro, but Priscilla, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into mental health?
Okay. So myself and James, who is my partner, we formed Clear Focus Training. That was around about the time when one of the junior doctors in Toby Hospital sadly took their lives. And we delivered training for the group that they formed at that time that was called TN Empathy. So we saw that as a niche to get into, other businesses and say, there is support in training for people in their teams in good mental health and in anything that they will be struggling with. So I'm a mental health nurse, and James is a psychotherapist. So outside of these roles, we come together and do these trainings for different organizations. Yeah.
Amazing. So you've both got like a wealth of knowledge. I love that you've both come from like the medical field, and I can totally relate to you and your story about your friend committing suicide. Actually, my friend Katrina took her own life as well, and that was one of the reasons why I set up my business, because I said life's too short to not kind of, follow your dreams and get your
Yeah.
voice out there in the room. And I do think I've noticed a change definitely over the last 5 to 10 years in relation to mental health awareness. It's becoming more acceptable to talk about it, but I still don't think we're fully there yet. It's great that we're having the conversation, but I do think the training that you do is so valuable and it's so needed in corporate, and also for, to be honest, also for small business owners as well, because it's no joke running your own business, as you will know. So I think you do amazing work. So
Yeah.
if anybody else has got any comments as we're going along, don't be shy, stick them in. I have a few questions for Priscilla. The next one I have really is, what sort of mental health issues or kind of areas have you noticed in relation to LinkedIn?
Yeah. Oh, there's loads. I can open a book and go through them, but I think today we can focus on stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on in social media in general, and it's got to do with, us as people wanting to appear a certain way, and which is relevant because we all want to, I'm here on video, I want to look a certain way and speak a certain way. But the stress and the anxiety that comes with that is so big that it ends up impacting on our businesses and how we are as, in general, as people. With LinkedIn, for example, as a business person or business owner, you'd want to have that content out there that is going to attract people. You are looking for those likes and, comments and celebrations of what you've worked so hard to put on the platform. And when that is not, when you're not getting the sort of like the response that you would have wanted, because you are there for a business and you want people to buy into what you are selling, you do get the stress, you get anxious, and that stress can also affect how you are with other people. So, for example, if you're a manager, it is going to affect your employees. So what will be helpful in that position is to be able to recognize that yes, I am anxious. Yes, this is stressing me out. But what sort of things would help to not be in that person? You can always have anxiety, but you can work with it.
Yeah.
Which is what is, and you can never ever get rid of anxiety. If anyone has that formula, please get in touch. Yeah, and what was the stress? The stress can also lead to someone having long-term illnesses that will even impact more on your professional life.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important to look after ourselves. And we are approaching winter now. Stress can lead to, depression, and it will be important to be aware of that. And there are good ways that one can, follow to make sure that they don't end up in that position.
Yeah, yeah, loads of great points there. And I think a lot of people get stressed by social media, and in particular LinkedIn, because it is the professional platform. I
Yes.
think they really overthink it. And I know I was guilty of this at the start when I first joined LinkedIn. I thought, am I good enough? I'm not C-suite. I'm not a CEO. Can I have a voice here? Is it even for me? And I felt quite intimidated and overwhelmed. And for the first few years, I never showed up on the home feed or in groups or anything like that. I didn't share any content. And I think it was only when I did some social media training, and in particular LinkedIn training, that I thought, oh, is that it? Can I actually raise my personal brand? And this is a tool that can help me in my job, in my career, and now in my business. That I thought, it's just a tool. And that's what it is. If you're listening here today, social media was created because we can't physically all be in the same room at the one time. Face to face is always going to be the best thing, but social media was created so that we can stay in touch, stay in contact. And so it's a communication tool. And I think a lot of people really overthink it. They're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of putting themselves out there. They're
mm,
afraid of making mistakes. And like my few tips to kind of combat that is, if you are a professional or a business owner and you're not sure what to say on your personal profile, do a real deep dive into who you are as a person and what topics are of interest to you. So I always try to have like 5 topics in
yeah,
relation to my LinkedIn profile, and one of them is mental health, which is why I'm chatting to Priscilla today. I'm really passionate about it. My mother has suffered from mental health all my life. You know, she was sectioned for 6 months a few years ago. My
mm,
friend suicide. My husband, like Priscilla's partner, also works in mental health. He's a social
mm,
worker and approved mental health practitioner. So he's always
mm,
helping individuals with their mental health. So it's not just, I don't just say it for lip service because it's
yeah,
trendy to talk about mental
of
health.
course,
It's something
yeah,
I'm passionate about, and I could chat about it all day if anybody asked me. So
yeah,
other topics for me are networking, because I've been networking for years, and obviously LinkedIn marketing, that's what I do.
yeah,
Um, Another one is imposter syndrome, which is why I was really happy to chat to Jane on Wednesday, because so many people block themselves, and I've blocked myself. I think we've all been guilty of imposter syndrome at one stage or another. So I love to kind of tackle that subject. And I say
yeah,
the last topic for me is personal branding, because I just love the power of being able to brand yourself a certain way as an individual, and that you are in control of your
yeah,
digital footprint. So they're my 5 topics. And I would say, as
mm,
an individual, ask yourself, what topics could you chat about at the drop of a hat, and what's really close to your heart that you're willing to kind of
mm,
put yourself out there. Because when
mm,
you have like those bigger kind of topics and that purpose, social media is not that scary, because it's not really about you. It's about, you know, showcasing your expertise and talking about topics that you're passionate about. And
yeah,
likewise, if you're a business owner, you might struggle, like as Priscilla said, about putting out that content, and then
mm,
there's crickets, there's no response to your posts. I would say, you know, do a deep dive on your values as a business owner. And I think most of my clients, when I dig deep, they haven't actually figured out who they are as an individual, or what are their brand values for their company. So
mm,
my brand values, I've got an acronym for them, which is HACS, because I love a quick win. And it stands for honesty, accessibility, connection, kindness, and synergy. So I think
mm,
once you know what your mission is for your business, what's your vision, who's your ideal client, how are you trying to help, what's the transformation, then
mm,
you get more comfortable in posting, because you're standing for something. And when
yeah,
you actually don't have that solid foundation, that's when you don't know what to say. And I
mm,
totally get this, because when I was in corporate, I wasn't really taught to develop my personal brand. It was something I did on the side as a hobby. And I discovered it, but my company went like, "Go on, Jennifer, off you go. What are your values?" Because usually you get a job, don't you? And then you kind of learn a little bit about the company before the interview, and you
yeah,
usually know what the company's values are, and you rattle them off in the interview, and then you probably forget them. But you never
yeah,
really, yeah, you never really asked, what are your values? And it was only when I became a business owner did I actually go, actually, what are my values? And I had to
mm,
explore it. So I'd say they're my main tips if you are struggling with, you know, showing up on LinkedIn, or you find it really stressful. Dig deep
mm.
into your values. And I want to ask Priscilla, like, have you got any top tips to help people with their anxiety and stress?
Yes, there are many. And just to add on that before I do the tips, I'm not necessarily saying that, social media is bad,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
especially with LinkedIn, that's where we're making money. That's where businesses are there to make money. That's the other good side of it. And with COVID, certainly, with these virtual platforms, it's opened up a lot for us to go out there and network. We've been delivering training over, the virtual platforms. That is another good side of social media that we have come to embrace with the COVID situation. And equally, in one of those trainings, what we have done as well is to talk about, how one can look after themselves, because you can easily be focused on, yeah, I need to be on that screen, 24/7. I need to make sure that I achieve my targets and all that. And the way that people look after, and then again with COVID, we've used the outdoors a lot. People have found a lot of things that they found a more passion in doing, like going for walks, taking out their dogs, because we didn't get to see much of our family with the bigger restrictions at the beginning. So I think each and every one of us know what it is that keeps us well, what it is that if all the chips are down, what it is that we can tap into. Some people is like having that relaxing bath.
Yeah.
It gets someone relaxed, and therefore the stress levels go down. Or someone goes out in the outdoors, or phone a friend, chatting. That laughter, it gives that feel good feeling. Yeah, that you without it, the world will be sad, if I may put it that way. So it's things like that that are really the basic things that people need to tap into. Being mindful, being in the moment is the most important thing. Because like I was saying, I can easily sit in my study and do work all day and forget about having those comfort breaks and getting in touch with other people, my nearest and dearest or colleagues. So it is important that we try and think of, looking after ourselves more. Being mindful is more important. For example, you'll find me in my allotment. I've got an allotment. I grow a lot of veg, and that keeps me, grounded, and those stress levels go down because I will be doing something productive. And that physical activity, those endorphins, again, they're there. You are feeling good, and good nutrition. What we eat is important, because if we're being stressed about how we look and being anxious about it, eating the right things will get rid of, maybe appearing with skin breakouts or dark circles, which as a professional, you are going to be more conscious of and feel that maybe, you're not appearing as professional as what their perception will be. So physical activity, nutrition, being social, being mindful, try and live in the moment. And what I've noticed that we don't have in this country, in America, they've got Thanksgiving Day, and I think in Canada as well. I think one of the things that we certainly, or at times, seem to forget is being grateful, gratitude, what we have, because there's a lot of, we can always be like, oh, I don't have this, or my business is not going well, or, I've been ill, certainly with COVID again. People have lost their businesses, people have lost loved ones. And yes, I'm not saying that is not something that is, that I'm belittling. It is relevant and important equally, by having an attitude of gratitude. It will make your physical, emotional well-being, at an optimum level, or at least make you feel a little bit good about yourself. Your sleep will improve, that will lower your stress levels. It will boost the immune system. Therefore, your self-esteem, will be more enhanced as well, which is good for, for social and professional life and skills too. So yeah, those things I would say will be the tips that I would share with people, in the workplace, for anyone. Yeah.
Great tips. Like, you've covered so many things there, and I think I love the gratitude. It's not something I was taught to kind of practice. It's certainly something I've really started focusing on as a business owner in the last few years. And I think as a business owner, you can be hard on yourself, and you can forget the positives when you're trying to get the next steps. I actually have a running document in Word, and I have like a monthly breakdown, and I put in bullet points. So when anything positive happens to me, or I do something that I'm proud of, like
Yeah.
this in live series for the week, I'll put that in there, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like my accomplishment file. And I think,
Mm.
looking back at that, or even looking back at testimonials from clients, makes
Yes.
me useful, you know, when you're having that down day or you're a bit stressed. So I love that question, and I love the being mindful as well. And I think you can apply that to LinkedIn. And as I said, LinkedIn is a tool. You do not need to be on LinkedIn 24/7. You don't need to constantly have it open. People think I'm constantly on LinkedIn because I'm a LinkedIn trainer. I spend maximum half an hour a day on LinkedIn. I treat it like my Outlook. Okay. So even my emails, I'm not constantly 24/7 in my inbox. There's no, I would just be reactive and stressed the whole time. So I dip in at certain times. So I'll dip in, you know, in the morning for a few minutes, maybe at lunch for a few minutes, and then the evening for a few minutes. That's it. So, like, don't think, you know, you have to be available 24/7 on social media or LinkedIn. You don't. You just need to, you know, show up and be consistent. And I think you can get LinkedIn working for you in as little as 10 minutes a day if you've done that, like, deep dive on who you are as an individual, who you are as a business. You've got that clear message. Once you're popping on daily and you're just at the bare minimum checking your messages, your direct messages, just to say you're not missing out on an opportunity, checking your notifications in case you've been tagged in something. If you've shared any content, going back and checking and seeing that you've not missed any comments. So later on today, I'll go back to all your comments, because I think it's just good etiquette. If somebody's shown up or they've taken the time to comment on something, I will respond and thank them, because I am grateful. You don't have to show up to our lives, or you don't have to comment. So I think, that takes the stress out for a lot of people, because they think, oh, social media, I have to be on it the whole time. You don't. And if that's not for you, you know, disable a lot of your notifications. I've got so many of my notifications turned off. I don't need to see everything. So explore the back end of your profile and really get comfortable with your settings, because you're in control of all those notifications. And if you don't want LinkedIn on your phone, don't have it. Just use it on the desktop. So it's about you figuring out what works for you and your personality. And I think a lot of people get stress and anxiety on LinkedIn because they think they have to constantly show up on the home feed. And I'll just remind everyone, there's 3 different ways to network on LinkedIn. And most marketers will tell you it's all about the home feed. I won't, because for me, it's all about direct message. So it's all hidden in the back end. So if you never want to post any content, that is absolutely fine. As long as you're messaging people and you're building those relationships and you're taking them off LinkedIn, amazing. Or likewise, you might prefer to hang out in a group. And a lot of people discount groups on LinkedIn. It's a case of finding the right group with the right people, your right target audience, reaching out to them, having conversations. So, you know, I didn't show up for years on LinkedIn. I was always chatting to people in the back end and building relationships. So figure out what works for your personality type. Not everybody has to go live and make videos. Not everybody has to write articles. Not everybody has to create graphics. You know, it's about you figuring out what works for you. So I'm just going to quickly have a scroll through some of the comments. I can see the lovely Diane, who's another member of the LinkedIn Tribe Academy, and she did her live on Monday about how to attract your ideal clients with brand communications. So she's saying, great advice, thank you. And she's right, mindset is such an important part of our ability to function well on any given day, and it can ebb and flow up and down throughout the year. I completely relate to that. You know, it's like, it's so important to keep your mindset in check. And anytime my mindset dips, my motivation dips, and then you don't want to show up, you know, you don't want to be visible on LinkedIn. So yeah, mindset is everything. So, and there's another comment here from Dr. Mandela, and he's saying the biggest struggle is always in the mind. This makes one stress so much. Yeah, definitely, it's all in the mind, isn't it? And I think we can block ourselves, we can overthink things, we can assume things. And I don't know about you guys and ladies listening today, when I assume something, I usually get it wrong. You know, honestly, like most of my assumptions in life are wrong. And if you know the old saying, if you take the word assume, if you break it down, it can make an ass out of you and me. So never assume things, never look and assume. Oh, isn't it? It's like never assume that, oh, me. I assume that Jennifer loves making videos. I don't. As I said to Priscilla before, I absolutely love video. I love photographs, but I do it because I want to reach my ideal client, and I've got the purpose to help other people on video. Never assume it's easy for me. It's not easy. So I think I make a lot of assumptions, you know. So usually we get them wrong. So, and I've got a comment here from Adewumi. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that. So totally agree with that. And Dr. Mandela said he also has an allotment. So there you go.
Oh, nice think alike.
Again, it's
Yeah.
so important, isn't it? Like you said, at the start
Yeah.
of lockdown, we all, especially over in the UK, we were given like 1 hour a day when we could go
Yeah.
out. And I made the most of that hour. And actually, when that was taken away, I became lazy. And it's like Priscilla, I could spend all day on my computer if I
Yeah.
wanted to. And we could be on Zoom all day, going from live to chat to this to that. But it's so important, especially with LinkedIn. Limit your time, it is a tool, and you've got other tools you need to use, like your email, like the phone, like Zoom. Get strategic with your timekeeping, because that's where you can get sucked in. So I'm just going to ask you one more question, I think, because we're nearly at the 30 minutes.
I was gonna add as well that, you're talking about emails. One thing that we recognize was that, the communication and mental health is a link. Things like, time management is part of communication, how you communicate or how you're spending your time and how you are using that within your work. If you are not able to communicate with your team or vice versa, it can lead to that conflict in the workplace, and that can have its own, dynamic in someone becoming, mentally unwell in the workplace. Obviously, there will be other ways of supporting people. Most organizations nowadays have got EAPs and all that that are helpful. So yeah, it is important to be aware that the way you communicate and the way you come across as well can affect one's mental health as well.
Definitely. And I think in like when I was in corporate, I wish that we were taught like in school about the different personality types. So I've learned more as a business owner. I've explored like DISC and the different colors. And I find when you understand that people are all different, some are introverts, some are extroverts, some are fact focused, some are connection focused. And when you understand the different personality types, that conflict won't really arise because you'll understand that's how that person is, and that's how they communicate. I communicate differently, but I know where they're coming from, and there won't be really any misunderstandings. And when I think back to my time in corporate, the people that I didn't necessarily get on with, now I understand them because I've studied personality types. I'm like, that's why they reacted like that, and that's why they said that. And I think, effective communication within teams is so important because you often hear people don't really leave companies as such or roles. It's usually a bad manager, and usually that bad manager is not a good communicator or doesn't know how to kind of manage communication within a team. And I think, if one person can't communicate effectively with another, it can result in stress and anxiety and, like you say, mental health issues. So I think it's so important to learn how to effectively communicate. And I apply this to LinkedIn as well. When I'm messaging people, I try to gauge what is their personality type, and I can usually gauge it from their messaging, and then I try to mimic it so that I'm on the same page as them and we're communicating in the same way. So, for example, I'll just quickly digress, but if you don't really know about it, there are 4 main colors really for personality types, like a red, a blue, a green, and a yellow. So a red person is very extrovert, a facts-focused extrovert, and their main kind of word, that they will use is when can I have that? They want things short and sweet, and they don't want big emails or big communication. They're the ones that send the sentence, or let's book the call now. Short and sweet. Whereas a blue is an introvert focused, an introvert who is fact focused, and they love the detail, the minutia. So these people are usually in the background doing like compliance, bookkeeping, analysis, and they're all about the how. So when people ask me about how, I'm like, they're blue. And then you've got green and yellow. So yellow is it's an extrovert, but it's a more connection focused extrovert, and they're all about the who. So who you've got in common, very gregarious. And then you've got green, which is an introvert who's connection focused, and that's primarily what I am. And we're more we are outgoing. We like to kind of spotlight people, though. It's not usually about us. And for me, I need to kind of get to know people as a green. So I know by meeting people in person and also online, I can guess their personality type. So I think it's a really good skill. If anyone's listening today as a professional or a business owner, go away, explore the LinkedIn colors, the different colors of personalities, or DISC or Myers-Briggs. It will just really help you.
Yeah.
I know I could talk about mental health all day, but I just want to wrap up with one good question for Priscilla. Can you give us an example of the different types of teams you've worked with, or any particular clients? Like, do you only work with a particular size of company, like bigger companies, or can you help small companies?
Yeah, we're lucky here in Devon. There's lots of companies that we've worked with, and supporting local business is always the number one for us. So we've worked with them, Devon and Somerset. We've worked with the fire service within Devon and Somerset. We've worked with the colleges, South Devon College and Yeovil College. We go as far as we worked in London with an accountancy company called Crow. We worked with Velport, which is down from not far from where we are. And we work all over UK. We've traveled as far as Leicester for a company called Colors, which is a water utilities company. So it's what I will say is that every company that we work with is different. It's not like they're just wanting mental health training. What usually happens is that they will have an issue or a problem that they would be wanting solving. So this is where we come in. We do that discovery call, and they tell us what it is that is niggling, and then we come up with a plan, and we bespoke the course based on their need, not just delivering general mental health training, if I may put it that way, which makes it even more niche and more of adding value to that company, because they are getting everything that they want in the team, if I put it in the team. So it is important that people come away feeling like we haven't just done the tick box kind of training, whereby, oh, we've got this PowerPoint that we've had for X, Y, Z. Yes, it worked for Soren, so therefore we can apply. We make sure that it is niche, it is relevant to that company. And one example is a company in work with Rick Steins as well. Some of these restaurants that we've worked with, they've problems with, the phone calls when people ring, and there's issues with how the person comes across. So we went in and helped, with how the communication could be, solved, and, the listening skills and all that. That was really important. So we work with businesses that our training courses will have like the minimum will 15 people is a good number, because then you get that rounded, rapport when, breaking out into groups to solve whatever the issue will be, or the other material that we have for the training course for that day. It makes the engagement even more better when it's, we felt that the 15 people is more, it's better than, having big, stadium of people, if I put it that way. Because mental health, and it is a topic that people might think, oh my God, I don't want to, I don't want people to know a lot about me. So therefore, if the group is small, it's easier for people to share, because it's all about, sometimes making sure that you're connecting with yourself, with your emotions, because that's when the behaviors come, when you're not aware of how you are reacting to situations. So yeah, that's us.
It's good because, well, you've mentioned colleges, and I know we've got Andrea on from Exeter College today. Priscilla's just down the road. She's down in Maidencombe, Bathurst area. So you know who's listening, and it sounds like you can help anyone around the UK, really, especially if you go virtual as well. You can do,
Yes, yes.
and I agree, 15 is a nice number. It's the number really I chose for my LinkedIn Tribe Academy as well, because a lot of people, like you say, don't feel comfortable in big
Yeah,
groups and sharing. So I do think it's a nice number to help people to feel like they're in a safe environment to
yeah,
share. So
yeah.
we've gone a little bit over just because it's a really interesting topic. I just want to thank everybody for listening today and joining us. So Priscilla, what is the best way for people to reach out and contact you?
Okay, they can contact me on my email, priscilla@clearfocustraining.co.uk, or on my mobile number, which is on my profile on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, so please reach out and connect with Priscilla. She is amazing. I'm just going to end on one comment. Rachel's also said she loves her.
Oh,
So there's a nice allotment team here, and I would urge you all, get out today, do a nice walk in nature.
allotment queens.
If you don't have an allotment, um, Joanne said well done on a great interview, and I agree. And remember, it was Priscilla's first time on LinkedIn Live, so I give her a round of
Thank
applause.
you.
For amazing, because you know, it's always tricky and it can be a bit stressful trying something new. And now you've done it. I'm proud of you, and it's been a great talk. And I'm sure everybody has benefited from your knowledge. Lots of amazing tips that we should all apply. So I will be going off for my walk in nature soon. You've inspired me. I need to see some. I've got another nice comment from Dr. Mandela. So thanks very much for joining.
Thank you.
I will be sharing the replays to the 5 amazing lives this week from the ladies from my LinkedIn Tribe Academy. So if you're not already following my company page for my Super Connector, give it a follow. Look at my feed. I'll be sharing all the links. They were all great chats. So if you've missed the other days, Monday to Thursday, check them out. They're so valuable. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have an amazing weekend. And thanks, Priscilla. You were fab.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.